second ago. Hey, so I wanted to come on here. I'm going to do another video more deeply about like what is a masculine woman, what is a feminine man, what does it mean to be in your masculine energy versus feminine energy. But I just want to do this quickly as I'm on my way to my co-working space. And, there is, so our community has a level of dysfunction. And I don't say that in a mean way because honestly, we can fix it. We are fixing it. We're doing it individually. And the only difference is now people like myself are speaking out who have been empowered, trying to, share the knowledge for those who want to change and do better by themselves, but just the community as well. Like we're out here. So I don't say we're dysfunctional. We're going to stay dysfunctional. We're going to stay dysfunctional. I think we can do this and I think we can change this. But there is a narrative among some very wounded sacred masculine, right? So the men in our community are very wounded in different ways. This woundedness shows up in a lot of anger. Now, they definitely need to take the time to go inside and heal some of that. So if you're going around saying, women ain't shit, black women ain't shit, if you're doing that, that's on you. Because I'm just going to be very honest, I do a lot of healing work for myself. I don't meet women ain't shit women. So if you're meeting ain't shit women, like you need to look at yourself. Why are you attracting that? Okay? I attract great women, beautiful women of all races and all colors who are doing good, who have integrity, who are working on themselves. So if you're seeing something, I know you don't want to hear it, but you need to work on yourself and you'll find you'll attract a different type of person. If you want to stay there and be mad, you want to stay and be wounded, that is ultimately your choice. And that is the divine feminine principle I learned by going into the spiritual aspects of the divine feminine, not the relationship and not the, dressing up and looking cute to be feminine aspect, right? This is the spiritual aspect. That's your journey. You have the right to it. You can stay where you are. You can go up. So there is amongst that wounded sacred masculine, there is a lot of anger. And the anger, I actually understand, I'm going to get deeper into it on subsequent items because they don't know everything. They may not even know their job, but they do know the way that we are acting is not the right way. But I'll go into those two things are different. So I will have to wait until I park a car to go back through your comments because I'm driving. Right? But amongst that sacred masculine, they like to say black women are masculine, black women are masculine. And before I started this journey, I would get really offended at that and wonder what they were talking about. Right? But if you guys have been following me, my information comes from experience, comes from knowledge. 2 years ago, my spirit guides, I'm an angelic channeler and medium. Oh, and my other life, I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate influencer. I have a best-selling book, coming out with 2 more best-selling books. Times.com is doing a feature on me next month that is coming out. So I have a whole life, and I've been working hard. I target black professionals to invest in black communities who buy rental properties that cost anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000. Rent them out against gentrification. So that's what Lisa is for those who are just tuning in, wondering who I am and do I have any authority. And so where does this information come from? So as an angelic healer and channeler about 2 years ago, Oshun, the goddess stepped forward and was like, you need to get in touch with your divine feminine. So I would do my healings and meditations with her where she can give me an aspect with it. So I'm learning the spiritual levels of how we were meant to be in our divine feminine. And it doesn't mean we're weak. It doesn't mean that I'm a punk. It doesn't mean that we're shallow. It's actually the deepest thing you can ever do, and it's very healing. So if you look at my previous videos, I show how going into this divine feminine, when you react or, when you're around people, you create this space that makes them grow and learn, especially the men, because they're supposed to be reacting to us. It's a deeper principle. So don't get triggered. So they are going around saying black women are masculine. Now, are we? I was, yes. Now, are we the only ones? No. So they really need to get that out because I'm going to the relationship classes. I'm talking to relationship coaches. I'm going to divine feminine retreats. I'm doing the divine feminine work. I'm doing my own work. I'm getting my channeled messages, right? Trust and believe white women are all over this space. So are we? Yes, but no more so than any other Western woman. And I say Western because it depends on what type of Western. I love listening to the Universe Guru because when I talk about the evolution and biological reactions, she's really good on that and explaining it. But she is a woman I listen to, and she's amazing. And she talks about how she was American, Indian, and Pakistani, and how the Pakistani women were all very feminine and not having the relationship issues that the Indian women, who are more educated or more in their masculine, more building businesses, were compared to Western, which was all out of whack, right? That femininity and the energy of being feminine. And she was like, you learned this from a little girl. My grandmother was saying, you don't do this, you don't chase the man, you do this. So this takes like a whole lifetime for you to learn, for you to be eligible, pick the right mate, da 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 da. So are we? Yes. Don't get so triggered about that. I was very in my masculine energy, and honestly, I still am in my masculine energy. When you see me in my business, you need your masculine energy because that's that's logic, that's get things done, that's go, go, go. Women and the feminine energy is observing, exposing, asking the right questions, being thoughtful, not reactionary. So when you have a male female dynamic of relationship and you have one that might slightly get upset, and you have the other dynamic, the yang, the yin, which you say something, I don't like it, but I sit a moment and before reacting, I think about my feelings and how I feel, and that's how we're emotional because we process our emotions first and then we respond, right? And you get better and better at that. But there is this go play where you're not really arguing and going at it like two bulls because you're not. It's a bull and it's a buck and a doe, right? And so you have that polarity. You're not going to escalate and be fighting in the fields like the men do, right? That is a thing when you're getting in the different energies. And I'm going to go into detail more fully. So if there are any females who are getting triggered by that, I would like for you to sit for a moment and before you react and learn what I'm about to say and don't be so reactionary, because that is when you have this beautiful relationship going round and round and you're not going at it and you're not in your masculine energy. So sometimes we have to be in our masculine energy. We understand that when we went into survival mode, when we went into single mother mode, when we went into different modes, we had to be masculine. We couldn't just, actually, you could have, but you didn't know. What you did know is this masculinized world to go out, get, go, do, and then you're not telling me anything. I'm not submitting to you. You're not the captain. I'm the captain, because we learned that. That is not how we came here, and it's not our base nature, and that is not healing. So there are times when you need to be a masculine woman or be in your masculine. I'm not a masculine woman, but I'm in my masculine energy, right? And then there are times when you come to a relationship that you need to switch that off and be in your feminine energy, okay? So that's the difference. So yes, we are, but so are every other Western woman. Because trust and believe, when I go to those coaching classes, there's 2 black and there's 20 white women or Asian women or Hispanic women. I see every single woman in the Western world. We know that we've been reprogrammed and it's not working. After my divorce, I learned from it. He learned from it. We've grown. I realized things that we broke up on. I'm going to do a video. If I would have known these principles, we wouldn't have divorced at all. And I'm not going to necessarily go back, but going into these principles as co-parents, you see this like beautiful relationship that is forming and developing, because we are, I am taking that role and he's reacting to it. And it's getting us, we're not in knockdown, drag out fights about my daughter, even though we're diametrically opposed to each other in philosophy and thought, which was part of the breakup. So, and don't worry, we're healthy co-parents, but it's just, you have to be able to acknowledge and go back. You need to be able to sit with your feelings and observe and learn. Like, we're the ones who pronounce this. So yes, we are. Don't get in your feelings. I'm masculine in my energy when I need to, but I've also had to learn to turn that off in relationships. And that's what we didn't learn. Now we also have something where, if you're talking about being loyal to black men, which I was at a time, but then, I tell in another video, when I was 13, I remember seeing a group of black boys from around the neighborhood, and they completely bypassed me to go to some very basic, low educational white woman. And she wasn't cute or that. But I remember at the age of 13, I was like, what? Y'all we don't exist, right? And what I did at that moment is that I was like, okay, I need to date everyone, because I will not lower myself to date for someone who doesn't even like their own race of women. So I've always been open. And so when you are open, and this is our jobs, we are the gatekeepers of our communities. And so we are the gatekeepers of our community. We had to hold a high value. We hold a high value for ourselves. They respond to that and they step up. We've gotten a little lost because of the loyalty thing. I'm dating black men, so I have nothing against them. I'm saying this very logically. I'm slightly in my masculine energy as I'm explaining this, although I'm in my feminine in relationships, especially the last 2 years as I delve deeper. So when you hold the high value in our community, they have to respond. They won't get any play. And out of all the money, they only get the money to get the women. Okay? So if you hold yourself to the higher value, you date outside, you date within, but you don't let it go easily, you don't do this. Those are the divine feminine ways so that we evolve the species. And so there's a lot of anger on the men's part. Now, they're not necessarily doing their part, right? But then again, we're not either. And so if you are anyone who are looking at any of these people and you think it's just all black women or all black men, you're not being adult, you're not being emotionally intelligent, you're not being emotionally mature, you're not thinking, because it's never ever, I don't care what relationship I've ever seen, just one. Even in the worst relationship, there's a causer and an enabler, all right? But if you had set your boundaries, it wouldn't have gotten that far, okay? Yeah, he should work on himself, but you also shouldn't let yourself be used like that. And so in our community, when it comes to this, we are both off center, but we as women can change that individually by holding the space and learning those principles, which was written out and reprogrammed out of us. It was reprogrammed out of us, okay? So now, was that deliberate? Well, you need to think about it. It keeps us unhappy. It keeps us disunited. It keeps us easy pickings for the authorities to come pick us up one by one because we're vulnerable, because we're not in those healthy relationships that have sustained us. You know, black men being used as bucks, and then all of a sudden, 4, 5, 6 generations in, they prize themselves on their penis and their sex drive. That's programming. That's 400 years of programming. Okay, so they need work to do, but we also can do work. No one has to do anything. That's your journey. But if we do this work, I can literally show you and tell you how it changes the society. And as women, learning the differences between that masculine and feminine energy and not being mad and triggered by it, but understanding there's a time and a place for both and learning how to calm down, it's the most powerful thing you can use in this life because no one's doing it. And you stand out so amazing and you become this energy that's the opposite of two men doing that, of going back and forth. Now, you can look at my previous videos. Being in your feminine energy does not mean you are weak. There is nothing about me that is weak. Even how I handled that conflict with Cynthia G, like using my comment and putting it at the back of another video as if I was enabling it and me calmly laying it out. There's nothing weak about what I did, right? So femininity is not weak. I'm nowhere near weak, okay? Honestly, until my real awakening 4 years ago with my spirit guides, I'd be arguing and shouting and yelling just like, she was. But that's just an example of being in your feminine energy doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're measured. It just means we are emotional. That's why we're not supposed to react before we process our emotions, right? That's why we attract. They go after things. We attract. But how do you attract? Easy. That comes with going in your divine feminine. And then you have a whole other skill set. They're soft skills that are more powerful. You know how they say, like, your social skills are more powerful than your technical? The men are the technical, we are the social. And I'm learning these skills, and you can work your way around people. So it's a beautiful thing to add to your repertoire. Now, none of you have to listen. That's okay. But let me tell you, in these dating and coaching classes, because everyone, if you want to date and coach successfully, you should take some courses up level, get on your audiobooks, listen to people who've been proven to do really well in this and who know who they're talking about. It is a lot of white women in there, okay? Because that's what they were taught, the same programming too. So I just want to end on that. Are we? Yes. Now I'm stopped so I can read this. Lolita says, yes, this topic is hot right now. Yeah, the Divine Feminine, the Holy Sophia, we're all getting the same messages because I know I'll do a video and then I'll see all these influencers doing the videos after. I was like, oh, we all received the same message. Like a week ago, like I was like, be arrogant, not nice. And I remember after that, everyone's like, be yourself, be yourself. So we're all who are in tune getting the same messages and spreading it to our audiences. Lolita says, I wonder if you heard about that lady Arcutno on your YouTube host wife school. Oh, she's about these topics when people consider her a pick me. Oh, I think she needs to. I heard her thoughts. It's just like some people aren't all wrong, but she lacks compassion and she lacks understanding. And so, although she's not necessary, and she lacks a perspective, right? Because she was like, ah, you know, prepare your daughter to marry a black man. Like, prepare your daughter to marry a man who's worthy of the honor of marrying her. So I don't agree with that because that just lowers yourself and you constrains yourself. I don't like that she is not compassionate. So she's like, black women are annoying. They don't listen. Da 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 da. Like, look, I had someone come at me real crazy, but am I saying that she's worthless or she's this or she's that? No. Like, you have to be able to, when you evolve more spiritually and into this divine feminine space, you're going to understand that people are reactionary, and we are the ones who are bringing this back to like sit with it before we respond out of our emotions and our feelings. So I didn't appreciate that, but so without her having that, I guess she's just teaching the technical skills of being a wife. I can't imagine if she's like that she's able to teach sort of a higher evolve. Like, listen, like if you listen to me, like, I've had to learn these lessons. I'm going to talk with a little bit more space and compassion. I'm not going to be reactionary. I include the fact, hey, I was masculine, you're masculine. Don't get triggered. I'm not judging you. I'm not bashing you. I'm not going to, because that doesn't help. And that's just not where I'm at spiritually, because I understand I was just there. I'm not going to take that out. And so if she doesn't have that ability to be bigger and think and hold space, I think she might be teaching the technical skills, which are pretty good. But I think, well, I know that you're more powerful when you learn the deeper skills at the emotional level. So I think she's fine. She's not necessarily wrong. I just think she's limited in scope and emotional maturity and spiritual maturity. So you're going to get what you get, right? She doesn't have a bigger perspective. Like, you can see the flaws in someone, and like, I can see the flaws in the men who are very angry and not just say or write them off. Just understand that they have their own healing to do and they can choose to do it or not, but not react to that and try to bring them back down, right? Yeah, so Melina, yes. She does give good game. Yep. She does give good game, but she lacks compassion. And that, listen, you can do the game all you want, and it does work. But true compassion and holding space is healing. That's what heals what's going on in our community. That's what gives people the space. And I have videos on it. When they mess up, you're not just reacting crazy, but you also give each other the chance to, like, do better and come up and raise up by just being strong in your boundaries and holding that space. So I think her name is Rose something. So that's so yeah, like, learn the game from her, you're not going to learn the higher things. When you start learning the compassion and holding space and how that looks like and not being reactionary, that's when you heal. I'm a healer. So if you guys been listening to me, I'm a channeler, I'm a medium, I am a magician, I am a teacher, I am a warrior, I'm a healer. That is my ancestral and spiritual lineage. That's what we do. In another world, I saw a vision of myself. I freaking command armies, and you're not going to be surprised to hear that. I came down here for a mission. This is part of my mission. The real estate investing and empowering the Black community through real estate and through wealth was also another part of my mission. We're on task. I'm on target. Okay. So I'm a healer. So of course, when I'm going to do this, I'm going to be led and guided by my spirit team to do it in a way that only can tap into it, but understanding that if we do this, we heal ourselves and we heal others. We hold ourselves to a higher standards, we heal ourselves, but we're inspiring now that we know we're inspiring. The only reason they get money is to get girls, high value, what they consider high value women, whatever. I don't want to go into the miasma. I've talked about Kevin Samuels and all that good stuff. I do nuance. So don't come for me without you also having the nuance as well. And that's being in my feminine energy and not so reactionary, for you, if you want to take that on. But when you learn those higher, more evolved things of why it's supposed to work that way, how it works, and how they're biologically geared to do that, then you get to the point where you heal naturally just by your own healing. Your own healing heals everyone around you. And I'm teaching my daughter this, like, when she gets emotional, like, I stop her and make her go, okay, you immediately started crying, but how could you have worked this out, thought about it for a moment, and gotten exactly what you want without doing this? Right? And so I'm teaching her these skills of not being reactionary, thinking about it, and not chasing. Because, you know, it's funny, at 4 and 5, they're starting to exhibit the behaviors that you're still exhibiting at 40 and 50. Like, if you don't train them now, it's going to continue. And teaching her how to go in. And how do you feel about that? Not happy. Okay, so are you going to stick with this or not? You know, and like, that's what the next generation is going to get. Mothers like that. And so I just want to end on that. I'm almost at the place I was going. And honestly, um, yeah, it's okay to be masculine in your energy, but it's also good to turn that down when you're dealing with people, right? So I'm masculine, not with people. I'm masculine when it comes to, okay, I got to get this done. All right, this is my goal. I want to go on 4 podcasts this month. My real estate investing for my book. That's being in my masculine energy. But when it comes to people, it's being warm, it's being compassionate, it's holding space. It's not just cutting to the chase, right? So there's parts to this. So I hope this was helpful. Melita also asked, was wondering your thoughts on this beef feminist versus femininity as an argument between pick me's versus feminazi. What's your thoughts? Oh gosh, you know, that's when it comes to being nuanced and balanced. Like, there's parts of the feminist movement that are amazing, and then there's parts that have really messed up our relationships, right? And it went to the extreme, and it's going to the extreme. We are different, and it completely took that out. But then femininity can be very shallow and think that it's all about just being pretty. That's not enough. We heal when we go deeper into the spiritual relationship and physical aspect of being in our divine feminine. And so they're just being one dimensional, and one dimension does not, that only gets you so far, but it's only one part of a third of what we need to do to really bring the changes in. If you come to me, I talk about all 3. You'll see my videos: divine feminine, spiritual; divine feminine, relationship aspect; divine feminine, physical aspect and physical beauty, and what I channeled on that from my ancestors. And so the thing is, it's like we're being very masculine in that debate. Why is it all or nothing and not nuance? It's not masculine. We're just being emotionally immature. It's just like, oh, it's all black men's fault, or it's all black women's. Like, that's not emotionally mature or an adult mindset to go, anything is just one person's fault. Like, never, ever. Right? So is all feminism bad? No. Is all femininity bad? You know what I mean? Like, there is a in between. And if you're talking all in or all out, you need to get out of that and think for a second, evolve a little bit, and with some emotional maturity, understand there's parts of it that work and parts of it that really fundamentally reprogrammed us and keeps us in dysfunction. You should be able to see all of it. Just like when I go to church, I channel angels. You know, when I go to church, they think that's witchcraft, but I can still go to church and appreciate the good parts, while also understand the bad parts, or the shame or the judgment isn't part of it, and be able to take both and see both. Like, that's just being balanced, right? And that's yin yang. You're supposed to balance it out, not be all in on one side or the other, right? So if you guys look at my other thing, I've been, this 1 year alone, I went from super liberal to super conservative to libertarian, right? In 1 year, right? Because as you learn and you grow, you need to start looking outside of this one paradigm and be multidimensional. So that's what I think about that. And maybe I'll do a video on it. Thank you, Melita. I got to get going, but I'll do more videos today. Thank you. About, like, what is masculine energy? What is feminine energy? What does it look like? And why we should be taking, as women, use the masculine as needed, but take it out of the relationship. Yes, girl. Thank you for sharing your piece. Looking forward to more